What's going on there, gents? I was just messing around on Twitter, and I was watching some videos from. I watched a video from Candace Owens, and you know, it's just it's kind of sad how fractious some of these outlets on the right have become. To be honest, uh, I'm honestly kind of tired of it. It's very dramatic. It's very childish. It seems like, and I want to say that to me, it feels as though Daily Wire is central to all this. They seem to have friction with every conservative they come in contact with. Um, at some point, I remember the Steven Crowder stuff, um, Candace Owens. Uh, who else? I know there's at least one other that. Oh yeah, Andrew Tate. I mean, and it kind of bothers me because I feel like they are taking my goodwill for granted because I was for Daily Wire 100% since I started watching them in 2015 when Trump was running for office the first time, and I always considered them a pretty moral group of guys. But as time goes on, they've become increasingly Machiavellian, where they're uh, and I agree with them on most things, and I have agreed with them on most things, but lately their actions have caused me to question my allegiances or my beliefs. Like and not only that, I feel like they are now a part of, I would almost say, a conspiracy to squash, because at this point on the right, there is a portion of the right that is against, or that, you know, that wants a ceasefire between Israel and Palestine. There is a faction, whether they're anti Semitic or anti Israel or pro Hamas, I don't know. I really don't care as that much. I mean, I think it was terrible what Hamas did to Israel, and I mean, we have been allies for so long, and I don't think Israel has done anything, or they haven't offended me personally. But what has been offending me of late is the Daily Wire and the Free Press teaming up to smear other conservatives that are not that don't believe in backing Israel 100% of the time with 100% of what they want. And it has started to, like, I'm starting to question whether or not, why are we backing Israel to the hilt. And if you guys have the answers, please tell me, because I've asked this question online. Honestly, an honest question. Why are we attached to Israel at the hip? How does it benefit us? What like, in a purely Machiavellian sense, what do we get out of the relationship? And if it's nothing, just say that. Just say that. If we don't get anything out of it, just say that. And if it is purely a that they're morally, or I don't want to say morally, but religiously on a similar page as us, and that I can understand. I can understand that, but they don't do that. They try to muddy the waters. They try to obfuscate the situation, and give, they're we get technology from them and this and that. And I'm thinking, dude, that is an awful argument that we get weapons technology from them. Really? That's why we back them. That's ridiculous. I think we back them because morally, yes, they have been in the right in the past. Uh, they were attacked from all sides at one point. But I think things have changed, and other countries, they're not looking to invade Israel anymore, and they seem to have walked away from that. Now, I don't want to really even question the United States relationship with Israel, but this conspiracy or this movement on the right that has Barry Weiss and Ben Shapiro trying to clamp down and shut down anybody who questions uh, our foreign policy as it regards to Israel. That to me, that bothers me, because and like Alan Dershowitz, and I think he's a smart guy, and I watch his show, but he hated Trump Trump until he saw that Trump was going to back Israel 100%. And more power to him. That's his prerogative. But what bothers me is that to me that points to those people aren't really Americans, and they don't really. I mean, America is not their like there's another commenter or commentator, Batya Ungar Sargon or Sarkon, Batya Ungar Sarkon, and she's on Megyn Kelly's show. She's on some of the Free Press shows. That woman, she's Jewish too. She wears a Star of David necklace. But I agree with her 100%. She used to be on the left. She is a pro-American. She's an American. She doesn't lobby on behalf of Israel. She is for the American and the American worker. She is American as far. I mean, so is Ben Shapiro. So is Barry Weiss. But their opinions regarding the situation suggest to me that they aren't 100% in the America camp. That there is a certain percentage of them that is more loyal to Israel than it is to America. That's what it feels like to me, and because it has nothing. I mean, that's what it has to do with how do they feel about America, and how do they feel about Israel? Backing Israel, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I have backed Israel, or I have thought that Israel was in the right, and they deserve to, to have to be backed by us, But when all of a sudden on the right we have, these media outlets have sprung up, wonderfully and organically, the Free Press, the Daily Wire, but they're backed by, I guess Zionist owners, or Zionist people with Zionist political beliefs, because it is a political belief, Zionism, and I don't have a problem with. I think Israel should exist. I'm glad that they exist. Good, excellent for them. But this whole paradigm of where the Jewish people are, it's like, to me, it seems like they're here in America until things go south in America. Then they're going to skedaddle to Israel. That's their main goal, is to make sure that Israel is their lifeboat, so to speak. That bothers me. When I listen to Batya Ungar Sarkon speak, I don't feel like if things got really tough here in America, that she would be out. I don't believe that for a second. I don't mean things got tough for Jewish people. I mean, if things got tough for America, for us as American people, I think that she would be there sticking it out with America, and she would, she's an American. And I don't know that about Ben Shapiro or Barry Weiss or Alan Dershowitz. I don't know that. And that bothers me a little bit that they're Americans, but they hold the right uh, uh, to jump ship, basically, and and they're that just I don't know, that just bothers me, and the fact that on the right they are trying to squash dissent. They want to be the top dogs on the right where when it comes to political speech and political commenting and commentating. They want to be the top dogs, but they also do not want to be objectively objective when it comes to Israel. If you're going to be on the right and you're going to politically, there is an ethos to the right. There is a set of values on the right, and I'm not so sure Israel really belongs in there. I don't think that is. I don't think Israel existing as a state is an objectively conservative idea. I just don't. I just do not feel that that's the situation. Um, and they are trying to make it a plank of the conservative platform, the Free Press and the Daily Wire. That I have a problem with. The Daily Wire, they don't have any objective commenters on Israel on their show. They're all pro-Israel. And as soon as one was neutral, like Candace Owens, she gets booted. And the same thing with the Free Press. And and one thing, Alan Dershowitz will always tell you how he defended the Nazis to march in Skokie, Illinois, and I respect him for that. And as such, the Daily Wire should defend. They should have defended Candace Owens's her right to speak. It's not that they have to. I don't believe they have to, because like Ben Shapiro says, it's their company. They can do with it what they will. But I do not like this gangsterism that they've devolved into. Where I saw literally a smear of a little clip smearing anybody who says Christ is king, or anybody, it was saying beware of people saying Christ is king, because they're just out trying to manipulate you and propagandize you. And it's like, no, I think it's you who's out to propagandize me, because that video it didn't include people who had said Christ is king. Andrew Tate was in there, and amongst others, but Candace Owens was the only one that has said that. And I just think it's starting to feel a little bit dark to me, what they're doing, how they're squashing any dissent, and they're trying to smear and remove anybody on the right who doesn't fully back Israel. And that's not right. That's not right, because we deserve to hear both sides of the story as Americans. Those are our tax dollars. We deserve to hear both points of view. And does that mean we're going to, all of a sudden be against Israel? No. And I'm not necessarily, because people are calling, because other people are. I listen to the opinions where people are pro-Israel. I listen to Douglas Murray, and I tend to agree with them. I do. I tend to agree with them. I think, I tend to agree that Hamas is just a bad. They're a bad actor, and I think things would probably be better off without them. It seems like we have been stuck in this crappy morass for 100 years, dang near, because of Hamas and because of uh, a small group of people in the Middle East. And I side with Israel on that more or less. I think that maybe they're not the ones that are constantly causing trouble. And Saudi Arabia and Egypt, none of them are causing trouble. It's just this one small group of terrorists, more or less, causing trouble. But here in the States, we get these right wing outlets that are starting to come off as propaganda, as pro Israel propaganda. And I just don't like the idea of being propagandized by either side, uh, especially when it's foreign policy and foreign affairs. And then I watch the Young Turks too, and I see Cenk Uygur. He is an absolute nutcase. He truly his stance on the whole situation, I think, is despicable. I think that Hassan Piker guy is a scumbag. Um, and I don't agree with the left, how they've become this pro Hamas group. It's disgusting. I'm proud that Jewish people have found a home in America, and it bothers me that Jewish people are scared and are considering moving to Israel because these scumbags, or not even protesting, terrorizing Jewish students in colleges. I think it's awful. I think it's awful. I dated a Jewish girl when I was younger, and so I've seen it from the inside. I don't necessarily agree with everything, and I don't agree with, I don't necessarily agree or disagree with everything that Jewish people do or stand for, but I think that they're people and they should have the right to live their life as they see fit. Now, I wouldn't, if I was counseling them, I wouldn't counsel them to do certain things, that seem to ostracize them or seem to self-ostracize, self-segregate them. I would advise against that kind of stuff, but I certainly don't like seeing people terrorized and having to consider uprooting and moving to another place. I think it's awful. And if anybody should have to uproot, it should be the bad actors like this Halil guy. They should be uprooted. His wife, his pregnant wife, they should say, yeah, you got to go with him too. We don't. I mean, I wish that was the case, But anyway, I do not like what I'm seeing on the right with the big outlets, the big news providers right now, the Daily Wire and the Free Press especially. They just seem to be. They have ulterior motives that we're not privy to. Or if we are privy to, it's only because, you know, we, they've said, they're pro-Israel, they're Jewish, they're pro-Israel, but and then for Jeremy Boring and these other people to come out and try to use scripture and stuff to silence people who aren't for backing Israel to the hilt, I think is disgusting. And they're starting to disgust me, Daily Wire. They're starting to disgust me. Not Ben Shapiro, but the Daily Wire itself. That they're starting to disgust me with the way that they behave and treat other people. Honestly, why did they talk about Candace Owens at all? I don't get it. Why do they talk? Why are they stirring up stuff on Twitter with Candace Owens? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I don't really watch Candace Owens, but and I didn't really watch her when she was on the Daily Wire. Didn't really find her all that interesting. But I do find it rather it just seems unbecoming for them to be. They seem to be getting rolling around in the mud, and it bothers me. It bothers me. I don't like it. And I don't like. They're supposed to be an American news outlet, yet they're only pushing news they're doing exactly what the left has done for years. They're only picking stories that make their stuff look good. And the Daily Wire, actually, they do a lot of weird stuff, a lot of stuff that I think is that I wouldn't do. And it's starting to bother me. It's starting to bother me. Jeremy Boring, I think he's a pretty gross chap. Honestly, I don't like Jeremy Boring actually at all. I think he's a weasel, and I don't like the way he is. I don't like the way he does business. I do like Ben Shapiro because he's straight up, and I like Andrew Klavan. I just don't like the Daily Wire or their business tactics. I don't like it, and I don't like the Free Press's business tactics, especially when I've seen how utterly ignorant Barry Weiss is. She is an ignoramus, a fool, an absolute fool. I saw her on Joe Rogan smearing Tulsi Gabbard as a Putin, an Assad toady. Didn't even know what toady meant. I mean, she's not as smart as she thinks she is, obviously, because Joe Rogan made her look like a complete fool, and he's not all that. He's not some paragon of intelligence, and he made her look like a damn fool because she was talking smack about somebody who he personally knew and personally had an affinity with. And I like Tulsi Gabbard. And I didn't like that she said that because I thought it was I thought it was despicable. And this is, I guess, the crux of it is they believe they are these moral arbiters and these paragons of truth. But the things that they do, they profess this, and this is how you'll hear them talk about themselves. But when they do stuff, it is gross. It is filth. It's beneath them. That was beneath Barry Weiss to be bashing Tulsi Gabbard. That was beneath her. She did it anyway. It's beneath the Daily Wire to be punching down at Candace Owens when they have, when they're a news organization. Why are they doing these mean girls gossip tactics? I don't like it. I really don't like the reputation savaging, and I wish it would stop. It just seems to be a corruption on the right that I've noticed, and I don't like it, and I still watch Daily Wire. I don't pay for Daily Wire, but I still watch it. But they have honestly, they're doing their side, or their side, I guess you could say their side, or their argument, their side of the argument. They're doing it a disservice by doing these underhanded tactics, by smearing people's their reputation. They're doing their own side a disservice, and I wish they would stop. And honestly, I wanted to hear what you guys had to say. If you feel the same way, or if I'm just way out of line here, I don't know. I like to kind of, especially when it's something I don't necessarily know 100%, just to throw it out and see what comes back, because I don't profess to know everything, but it seems to me that there is a certain group on the right that is trying to get a hammerlock on discourse on the right, or they're trying to box out all the other arguments but their own argument on this one topic. And that is suspicious, and it's suspect to me, and I don't like it. It forces me to question their motives. And it's a shame, because I had a lot of I had a lot of goodwill towards them. I had a lot of respect for them that they've lost. I don't respect them as much as I used to anymore.